Welcome back to I Accidentally Married a Filipina. This isn't my story. This is Paul's story, but I just want to tell you guys, and I wanted to do this with me talking to you. This one gets a little touchy, a little some sensitive content, you might say. So I just wanted to tell you that before we get going. If you're not, it's just the part of the true story that had to stay in there. And I left it in there, so just be careful as you're watching.
I saw Brian at Tequila Reef the next Friday, and he got a big grin on his face and said, "What's up, slugger?" That was a weird salutation. I responded with, "Just getting some eggs like always." Brian said, "I guess you don't know what I'm talking about." "I guess I don't," I said. He said that Kara told Linda that you have been stealing away from the pool party to fall in love with her. She told Linda she thinks you're the best foreigner ever, and she can't wait to sneak away with you every time she can. She is definitely in love. I chuckled a little to hide my embarrassment and changed the subject. I mean, this isn't who I am. How had I got so far away from the memory of Shane? And really, that was my true love, not some halfway bar girl from Walking Street. I needed to clean up my act. Back to the condo, and I went through my usual routine and was watching Thursday night football on replay Friday night. The game sucked, so I was about to head to bed, and there was a little knock on my door. That was suspicious. I was not suspecting anyone, but it was the cute manager lady dropping off the notice for renewal to fill out and bring back by Monday. I told her I was considering it and thanked her for the personal delivery service. She smiled big and excused herself. I took a look at the form and went to bed, and as I was about to drift off, another timid knock at my door. Great, maybe cute manager lady wants me to sign up now, I thought to myself. I opened the door, and it was Kara on a Friday night of all nights. She asked if she could come in, and as she had just got off work, and could she take a shower. Awfully bold of her to presume I was awake and wanted company, which I did not. I told her that this had gone too far and I couldn't keep acting like this, so I apologized and gave her 100 pesos for the tricycle fare back to Angeles. I know I shouldn't be so callous, but I had to nip this in the bud before I became that expat. Saturday pool day was a little hotter than usual, but still a great day. Brian brought a small portable grill to grill hot dogs and hamburgers on that he bought at Landers earlier that day. Other expats brought side dishes, and there was plenty of alcohol to go around. Brian was busy on the grill, so I assisted him by drinking beer and critiquing his form. He appreciated the help, and I asked where Linda was. He said she was shopping for a new bikini and would be by on her scooter before long. The party was really coming together well, and one of the bathing beauties brought a Bluetooth speaker and started bumping an 80s playlist that made not only the Filipinas shake their moneymakers, but even a few of the expats started dancing to the classics. I see Linda pull up on her scooter, and she comes over to the grill to greet Brian and says hello to me. Brian asked me to let Linda use my condo to change. I walk over and unlock the door and decide to reapply my sunscreen for the hot Saturday sun. While Linda was changing, she yells out the bathroom door that Kara felt ill this morning, so she wouldn't be at the pool party today. I'm breathing a sigh of relief because I was hoping to get out of that deal easily. Linda pops open the bathroom door in a bright yellow tiny bikini that barely covered her lady bits. She throws her hands in the air and says, "What do you think?" I try not to stare at her perfectly proportioned body that was all on display. I say it looks perfect, and I usher her to the door. Whew. Man, that was a close one, I thought to myself. I cannot afford any more woman problems. I locked the door and went back to my post at the grill. Linda went and paraded her new bikini in front of Brian, and she looked very disappointed that he was paying more attention to the sizzling meat than he was to her. She went to the pool and carefully waded in so as not to uncover anything that only Brian should see. The sun was setting, and me and Brian had been kicking back the brews and grilling nonstop for 4 hours. All of a sudden, Brian fell onto the table holding his beer and his plate of food. Everyone rushed over to fan him off and offer him some hydration other than beer. His face was flushed. He had stopped sweating and wasn't sure who Linda was. Linda and the rest of the expats helped Brian back to his air-conditioned condo, and just like that, the party was over. I stayed around and cleaned up the paper plates and empty bottles so we could continue our weekend parties going forward. The good news was there was a lot of alcohol left over. No sense letting it go to waste, so I took it to the condo and cracked a few beers open as I watched another NFL game on replay. I jumped in the shower and took a shower beer with me and just relaxed under the warm water and thought how much I liked living here, and I would for sure re-sign another 6-month lease. I went back out to the living room and settled on watching a movie on Netflix. Halfway into the movie, there was a timid knock on the door, and I just hoped it wasn't Kara coming to cause problems. Much to my surprise, it was cute manager lady asking me if I was going to sign my lease or not, as she had someone interested in this unit. I told her I would get it to her tomorrow. She smiled big and thought that sounded great. She seemed happy, so I took my shot. "Would you like to go to lunch with me tomorrow?" I asked. She blushed and said she would really like that, and I could pick her up at the office at 11 a.m. "Great," I said, as she excused herself back to work. I was on top of the world. This was an intelligent, beautiful, very professional, employed Filipina. I felt like I hit the jackpot. Maybe now I could start moving forward in a positive direction. I went back to the Netflix movie and another beer and contemplated where I should go on my lunch date to impress cute manager lady. It just dawned on me I didn't even know her name. Then another timid knock on the door. Great, I can ask her name. I opened the door, and instead of cute manager lady, it was Linda. She had covered up with an oversized t-shirt, and she looked disheveled, probably from caring for Brian. She pushed her way in and said she left her clutch bag in the bathroom from when she changed, and could she grab it. As she searched the bathroom, she said she is stressed out and was there any vodka left from the party. I pointed at it in the kitchen counter, and she poured herself half a glass over ice and added a splash of ginger ale, also left over from the party. As she slammed the vodka drink, she said she was so worried about Brian. He didn't know who she was, and he just sat there staring into space as she tried to get some water down his throat. She poured herself another big drink and continued telling me how she was worried because if Brian died, her life would change drastically. Brian had been her benefactor for the past 2 years, and she knew he wasn't going to live long, but she had put the work in and wanted him around longer. She poured herself another strong one and excused herself to the bathroom. I grabbed a beer and told myself I knew there was no way she was in it for the love. But they were both adults and they could make whatever agreement they wanted. Whatever, I thought as I hear the shower start running. I go, "What are you doing?" "Showering," she said. "I am very haggard." Again, whatever. Soon she will be out and on her way. I start cleaning up my mess and the bathroom door swings open and there stands Linda, not wearing a stitch. Not a flaw to be found, just stunningly beautiful. Linda walks past me to put her glass in the sink. She turns around and puts her arms around my neck and says she is very jealous of Kara, and since Kara and Brian aren't around, she wants me. I told her I didn't want to do that to Brian, and she said she is not telling the secret. I tell her I can't go on like this, and I am really uncomfortable, and I want her to leave. Just then I hear pounding on my door and someone rattling the doorknob. And I hear Kara yell at Linda to come out and for me to open the door. "I know this is your scooter. How could you do this? You are my best friend. Open up. How could you do this, you trash?" Then I see the door shake and very heavy banging as the lock gives way and Kara is standing there with Linda's motor scooter helmet in her hand. She rushes towards us and clocks me with the helmet and pulls Linda outside by the hair. At this point, a crowd has gathered and the door is broken and Kara is sobbing uncontrollably as she slams Linda's head to the driveway. At that moment, cute manager lady walks over and tells me to be out by Monday. I have nowhere to go and nothing to do. I don't seem to fit in with this expat bar girl community, but I think I have one last chance to fit in and feel welcomed. I head down a familiar road, so familiar I can find my way in the dark. As I stumble along, it's like a dream, but this time I don't want to wake up. It's late, but I knock on the door anyways. Sarah answers my knock at Shane's house. She says, "I've been waiting on you. Where have you been? What have you been doing? Are you okay?" I reply, "Please let me rest so I can tell you." Sarah says, "You are home. You are part of the family now." I have stayed with Sarah and her daughters this whole time and have created a very unconventional family. Thank you for listening to my unconventional story. Signed, Paul.